First, if you spend just a second to look at your skin, you might forget one thing, that it's the only visible organ that we have in the body. And second, it's the largest one. Bottom line, what I want to tell you, it's never underestimate the importance and the value of your skin. It's really something which is visible. It's the door of entry of many things in your body. And it's the reason why when we are talking about commitment to dermatology, there is also an enthusiasm to treat patients, to take care of the patient, because again, it's the largest and the only visible organ. The second thing I would like you to remember about Galderma, it's we are a world and global company. It's very much about developing, researching medical solution, and I will explain you why we say medical solution and not drugs and products, because we are a pharmaceutical company. And the last thing is also very much about products which are very well known. Cetaphil, we are very proud of Cetaphil. We can speak more easily about Cetaphil because for the prescription product, it's a bit more challenging. There's some regulation. But we have a famous product for acne, for psoriasis. I will show you that in a second. But that's really what you have to keep in mind. We are really the world's leading provider of medical solutions, and we do everything by ourselves in terms of research, development, and manufacturing. I'm not an expert. Now, behind the mission statement that we have, 4 things I would like to share with you. As a pharmaceutical company, it's all about the patient. When we take decision, when we develop product, when we are commercializing product, it's at the end of the day for taking care of the patient. The second thing, if you come back to what I said at the beginning for the skin, sometimes we have to go to a physician, sometimes we go over the counter to look for a solution quickly, or because we are also becoming a bit older, we want to look a bit younger, the aesthetic is important. It's the reason why we have a portfolio for prescription, for medical dermatology, we have a portfolio for the self-medication, and we have also a portfolio for the aesthetic and corrective. The third thing which is important, it's again about doing everything on our own. We spend about $400 million every year in research and development. I would say that 80% is for the US market, which is the biggest market in the world, and Japan being the second one, and China will be the third one in 10 years' time. And the fourth thing, and I will give you illustration after, including for the Metroplex, we are trying also to partner a lot with local association, with research. We have program in Fort Worth, program in Dallas, program in many cities across the country, with foundation for the research, because again, it's about bringing new products to the market for the patient. Why I'm saying that? Because if you consider about 300 million inhabitants in the US, we always forget when we talk about acne. Acne, it's about 60 million people have acne in the US. It's enormous. It's not only the teenager, there is also a population amongst the young female, the young adult, having more and more acne. In the same vein, rosacea, and you will understand why Galderma, we are proud of that. Rosacea was 20 years ago totally unknown. It was considered as an orphan disease. We have developed a product, we have commercialized a product across the country. Now rosacea, there are 16 million people identified with rosacea across the US. It's a major disease for really the dermatologists. In the same vein, if I'm talking about skin cancer, if you ask dermatologists, they will tell you 10 years ago, when they were diagnosing 1 to twice a week a melanoma, that was really the maximum. Now they say that they do the diagnosis of melanoma 1 to 3 times a day. Why? Because they are population more at risk. Second, because also the quality of the diagnosis has improved. It's easier to identify early enough melanoma, but you see also the importance of skin disease like the skin cancer. Galderma, few words. We are across the world, in all the key countries, including Japan and China. There are about 2 billion sales that we do. Half is in the US. There are about 4,200 employees working across the world, and we are about 600 in the US, plus Canada, we are about 70 people. And the biggest affiliate in the world is by definition here in the US, being the first market. And again, you will see the reason why it takes us in a second. That's maybe the slide where I could spend 2 hours, and don't worry, I will not do it, because there are a lot of history behind that. I should have done a quiz before. The first Cetaphil which was commercialized in the US was just after the World War II. It's the reason why when I'm asking people in the street or in store if they know Cetaphil, I have really a response rate which is very high because many of you were born with Cetaphil. That's the first thing. Second, one of the big discovery in medicine, especially in dermatology, was the corticosteroid. And Owen, years after the World War II, was also a big company having a corticosteroid portfolio. That was also one of the routes that we have in Texas. Then after Alcon was founded, and an interesting story, if you see the inception of Galderma, it's 1981. And that's where I could spend 2 hours because a political decision can lead to the creation of company. It was at that time a big election in France, and L'Oréal and Nestlé were partnering before together, and they thought that they should really think more strategically, and one of the strategic decisions they took was really to create Galderma. Nestlé bringing the Alcon portfolio in dermatology, and Alcon remained only in ophthalmology, and L'Oréal bringing also the expertise they had around the skin. It's one of the reasons why Galderma was born, and we stayed in Texas, in Fort Worth, and we have many employees of Galderma who worked before at Alcon. And you understand also the strong tie and link that we have also with Texas. But it's really, I can tell you, for us, it's very important, the Galderma culture across the world, to have the roots that we have in Texas. Now, one source of pride that we have, and I think it's the recognition of the commitment and the real commitment we have to dermatology. We are every year, and it was every time an independent survey, we are always recognized as really maybe the best company in dermatology in the US in terms of quality of product, in terms of people, and in terms of services that we are able to provide. And again, for me, worked in many countries, living in Texas, it does change also the way you think, the way you work, the way you behave, and I'm sure that it does influence also a lot of decisions that we take for the US in terms of commercializing the product. Now, the range, don't worry, I will not do the commercial and the advertising of the product. One thing and one key takeaway, basically what we are trying to do in our strategy, it's not only to give you solution and medical solution depending on the disease you have, but also depending on the age. We have product really for the baby, for the kids, for the teenager, for the adult, and also for the elderly people. Self-medication, aesthetic and corrective, as well as medical dermatology if you have acne, rosacea, psoriasis, skin cancer. And I think it's important in our strategy that we are really addressing the needs of all the dermatology patients. Now, if you go to the Galderma people, again, the roots, there is another illustration. We have a lot of people coming from Texas, coming from the different college. I can tell you, for me, college football has become something very important because I know the importance of not doing a mistake on Monday morning, depending on the employee you have. If you congratulate somebody from TCU and he's coming from Oklahoma University, I think you are in trouble. But the different college for us, it's also we have also a relation. I was very happy to see that. College, I think from Fort Worth, they had a trip to Europe. They went to Galderma in Paris, and they were very, very impressed. And we are also establishing really links and ties outside also the US with different people coming from the college in Texas. In the same vein, if you have the chance to go to Denton on the 35, on the left, in the Alliance area, you will see the headquarters of Galderma. We have also, which is rare, a big distribution center. The reason being that when you have Cetaphil, we sell Cetaphil every second in the US. We are talking about big volume. We have, according to experts in engineering, one of the most modern distribution centers you can find in many, many countries across the world. And it's the building which is on the right, and you see the truck. And most of the products are really shipped from this distribution center, which means that we have the headquarters for North America, we have a lot of people there, and we have also the distribution center. A few words about also the size of the Metroplex in terms of business for us. You might be surprised, but what we do in the Metroplex is much bigger than in many European countries in terms of volume and in terms of sales. It's about 600,000, if I remember well, of Cetaphil sold last year, and more than 100,000 prescriptions were made with a Galderma product just only in the Metroplex, which means it's also, for me, it's the reason why I really appreciate the invitation. It's essential in our strategy and commitment to dermatology that we are recognized, seen, and partnering as well as we can with all the people across the Metroplex. That's really key, and I want to make it much bigger even in the future. I show you the volumes and the distribution center we have. Also, we are trying also to partner with local association because I think, again, we want to be an important actor in Fort Worth. In the same vein, and it's maybe where I should do much better, because I can tell you if I make a test amongst the Galderma employees here, I'm maybe the one going the most to the rodeo. I was even last week at the stockyard, and every time I feel a bit alone, but for me it's really also something that I like. The Rangers, I told you why I'm not so well received when I go to the Rangers. To go about, it's a different story. But we are also organizing, you saw we are 600 people across the US, but at the end of the day, there are tons of meetings which are organized in Dallas, in Fort Worth, around the office. We are very often here, and I think it's important. We are very proud of investing also as much as we can also in the local activity. The last slide before a video that I will share, and I hope I will close my presentation with what I was trying to tell you at the beginning when we said that the patient is really in the heart of everything we do. Again, when you think about the skin, sometimes we think more about mild disease. Even though kids in the pool, okay, you will tell me, Francois, it's something obvious. Those kids in the camp wonder, they never went to a pool before in their life, which means for us partnering with an organization which is really dedicated to dermatology, which is really supporting kids and children having severe skin condition, it's really, in my opinion, the best illustration of our ambition, of our commitment to dermatology. And because I'm not an expert in video, I hope that if you can launch the video, I'm sure that you will share the emotion that every time we share Galderma when we watch the video. So in conclusion, I'm sure that you share with me why it's the greatest motivation when we talk about bringing medical solutions for the patient. It's really a great motivation to do it as well as we can. And really, it was also for me a great honor to speak on behalf of the US team to you about Galderma. And we are always there, and if there is anything we can do for you, you have to let us know. It's really part of our mission. Thank you.